Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 5th March 2025. So in this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Let me start with Nifty 50 and then Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain, and then I will generate a daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones, and 125 minutes also I will generate stocks near demand and supply zones. After that, I will generate bullish and bearish trade setups, and finally stop buffers. So let me start with the Nifty monthly supply demand zone chain. So this is Nifty monthly supply demand zone chain. Always look into the zone column to find high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. And always look into LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. And apply the same rules for the remaining supply demand zone chain reports. And also don't forget, I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. So pause the video, study the reports, and then proceed to the next reports. Okay, next. Weekly supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. This is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. This is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. So this is the nearest demand zone for the closing price. Let me adjust in the center. Okay, next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. All these are all supply zones. I am scrolling the list down. The nearest demand zone to the current closing price is 39. So let me put it in the center so that you know equal number of demand and supply zones. Okay, next 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. This is 5 minutes supply demand zone chain. All are supply zones. I am scrolling the list down until we get demand zones. Okay, here 68 we have the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Let me put it in the center. Okay. So this is the 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. So this is about Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next we will generate Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Changing the name to Nifty Bank, that is nothing but Bank Nifty. So generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 125-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. So this is the nearest demand zone, pierce demand zone to the current closing price. Okay, next 75-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Eighteenth is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price, the 75 minutes demand zone. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Again, 18th is the nearest demand zone, 25 minutes demand zone to the current closing price. Okay, next 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Twenty-fourth is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Let me put it in the center. Okay. Next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. All these are all supply zones. I am scrolling the list down until we get demand zones. Actually Bank Nifty. Maybe, sorry, I'm pronounced as Nifty. These are the Bank Nifty reports. Fifth, 35. Let me put it in the center. Okay, so 35 is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. So this is about the Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. So we have completed both Nifty and Bank Nifty. So before generation of these high liquidity zones, let me check, because the process is completed good. Now data is ready. So now let me start with high liquidity zones, because today I am skipping stocks near or price closed inside the zones, so that video size could be smaller and we can quickly upload today. So those who are using price closed inside the zones, probably today you should give me excuse. Okay, let me start with the daily. Stocks near daily demand zone. We got 8 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity demand zones from this list. Bharti Airtel is having a high liquidity zone, already tested 5 times and 14 rejections from this zone. Okay. Next, Coal India is having a daily high liquidity demand zone. That's it. We have two high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. Okay, next, for daily time frame, stocks near daily supply zone. We got 26 stocks. So let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. Nifty media, but it is an indices, not listed in F&O. We are not focusing. So here we have high liquidity zone, Indian hotels. Indian hotels is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. So let me scroll the list down. Next, Manappuram is having a high liquidity daily supply zone. Next, Power Grid is having a high liquidity daily supply zone. Tech Mahindra is having daily high liquidity supply zone. So we identified 4 daily high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, next, 75 minutes time frame. After that I will generate, because I know some of you are using 125 minutes also. After 75 minutes I will generate 125 minutes. So near 75 minutes demand zone, we got 11 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity demand zones from this list. Colpal is having a 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. Infi is having a 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. Jindal Steel is having a 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. So we identified 3 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones from this list. Okay, next, 75 minutes time frame, stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. We got 16 stocks. Let us look into the high liquidity 75 minute supply zones from this list. Concur is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. Escorts is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. Hero Motors is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. IRB is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. Manappuram is pierced, we can't use it for high liquidity zone strategy. Tata Motors is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. It is also having a high liquidity demand zone. Sometimes either side we may get opportunities. And Union Bank is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. So total we got 6 75 minutes high liquidity supply zones, right? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, yeah. We got 6 75 minutes high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, this is about high daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. I will also generate 125 minutes demand stocks near demand and supply zones. So this is 125 minutes stocks near 75 stocks near 125 minutes demand zones. Next, for 125 minutes time frame, stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 18 stocks are filtered. Okay, now let us generate bullish and bearish trade setups. Here also quickly I will generate. Monthly income trade, bullish trade setup. Entry time frame daily, entry zone, demand zone, bullish or daily. I'm selecting bullish. Zone achievement V was at minimum order enhancer score 12. So total 4 bullish trade setup stocks we got. And let us check LTF, ITF and EMA Confluence together, all three together, how many are available from that list. In the demand zone Confluence, daily with weekly demand zone Confluence, we got all the 4. And EMA Confluence, weekly with weekly EMA Confluence, we got 2 stocks. These 2 are high probability trade setup, more high probability trade setup, supported bullish trade setup stocks. Next we will see LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone Confluence. Removing EMA filter in the demand zone Confluence. This filter enabled. Next daily with monthly demand zone Confluence, weekly monthly demand zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, 1 stock we got. This is even more high probability trade setup. Yesterday we got, this is also got even monthly EMA. Let us check once again. The EMA Confluence, monthly demand zone having monthly EMA. So this is also having monthly. This is LTF, ITF, HTF, demand zone Confluence and HTF EMA Confluence. If you don't understand the strategies, please look into lesson 27. Lesson 27 we discussed all the strategies. EMA and zone Confluence strategies. Okay, this is bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup, monthly income trade, entry time frame daily, entry zone, supply zone, bullish or bearish trade setup, bearish zone achievement V was at minimum order enhancer score 12. We got 6 stocks, bearish trade setup, monthly income trade, entry time frame, daily, supply zones. Let's check LTF, ITF and EMA filters. In the supply zone Confluence, a daily supply zone with weekly supply zone Confluence. All 6 are filtered, daily and weekly supply zone Confluence. Let us look into EMA Confluence among those stocks. So in the weekly time frame, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence. We got 2 stocks. These 2 are more high probability trade setup supported stocks. LTF, ITF and ITF EMA Confluence. Next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone Confluence. In the supply zone Confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First one, second one daily with monthly supply zone Confluence, weekly with monthly supply zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 3 stocks, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone Confluence. But HTF trend is sideways. I am not looking for HTF EMA Confluence. HTF means monthly. Okay, so this is about bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next we will look into bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. And selecting bullish, zone achievement V was at, minimum order enhancer score 12. And the pierced zone, in the pierced zone 75 minutes, minimum value 0, maximum value 0, pierced count. So we got 4 stocks, bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, demand zones. Okay, out of these 4, how many are having LTF, ITF and then ITF EMA Confluence? We will check. In the demand zone Confluence, 75 minutes with daily demand zone Confluence. This is LTF, ITF. We got 3 stocks. 75 is part of the daily zone and daily trend up. Let us check daily EMA Confluence from the 3 stocks. Daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. All 3 are having EMA, so they are having high probability for these three stocks: Tata Steel, HDFC Bank and Bajaj Finance. Excellent. All the three demand zones. 75 minutes demand zones. Next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF zone confluence. Three filters we have to set. First one already set. Next 75 with weekly zone confluence, daily with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the three filters, we got two stocks: LTF, ITF, HTF. So that means HDFC Bank, Tata Steel are also having HTF confluence. That is weekly. Let us check. They are already having daily EMA confluence, both these stocks. Let us check even weekly is also available. The EMA weekly, I am setting weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. Both the stocks are having even weekly EMA confluence. Excellent. Both are good stocks. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup, weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup, weekly income trade, entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, supply zone, bullish or bearish at 75. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum order enhancer score 12, and 75 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. Minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter. So we got 24 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 24 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Let us check out of 24 LTF, ITF supply zone confluence and then EMA confluence. In the supply zone confluence, daily supply zone with 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With this filter, out of 24 we got 16 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 16. And out of these 16, how many are having a ITF EMA confluence? Daily EMA confluence. At daily, I am setting daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. So 10 stocks are filtered. These 10 are more high probability trade setup stocks based on LTF, ITF and ITF EMA confluence, zone and EMA confluence. Okay, next let us look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence and then HTF EMA confluence we will check. So in the supply zone confluence, three filters. We said first one already enabled. Next 75 with weekly supply zone confluence, daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence with all the filters. We got 6 stocks. So that means these 75 minutes daily and weekly supply zone confluence in all the three time frames. And trend downtrend we have 4 stocks are there. Let us check in the 4 stocks any weekly EMA confluence is available. In the EMA confluence weekly, I am selecting weekly supply zone with weekly EMA confluence. Trend on the weekly should be downtrend, bearish trade setup. We got 3 stocks. These 3 are weekly supply zones having weekly EMA confluence, and daily 75 and daily are part of the weekly supply zone. These 3 are more high probability trade setup, 75 minutes entry zone, supply zones. Okay, this is bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next we will look into daily income trade. Bullish trade setup, entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, demand zone, bullish or bearish trade setup 15, bullish zone achievement VOZ, minimum order enhancer score 12, and 15 minutes zone should not be pierced. So minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 6 stocks. So these 6 are supporting a bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes. Demand zones. Okay, now let us check how many are having LTF, ITF demand zone confluence, later EMA confluence. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. We got 3 stocks. In these three, how many are having 75 minutes demand zone with daily EMA Confluence? We will check. 75 minutes demand zone with daily EMA Confluence. We got one stock. So this 15 minutes demand zone is having more high probability to get success. Okay, this is LTF, ITF zone and ITF EMA Confluence. Next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence and then HTF EMA confluence. So in the demand zone confluence, three filters we have to set. First one is already enabled. Next 15 minutes with 15 minutes with the daily demand zone confluence. And 75 minutes with the daily demand zone confluence with all the three filters. Two stocks we got. LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. But daily trend is sideways, so I am not checking EMA confluence because it won't give any extra advantage. Okay, next we will look into bearish trade setup, daily income trade. Entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, supply zone, bullish or bearish. At 15 minutes bearish and zone achievement V was at minimum order enhancer score 12 and 15 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. At 15 minutes minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters we got 10 stocks. These 10 are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And these entry time frame zones are 15 minutes supply zones. Okay, out of these 15 minutes, out of these 10-15 minutes supply zone, how many are having ITF confluence? Let's verify. That is 15 minutes supply zone with 75 minutes supply zone confluence. I enabled the filter. With this filter, we got 8 stocks. 15 minute supply zones are part of 75 minute supply zone. And how many 75 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence? Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, 75 minutes supply zone with daily EMA confluence, we got 2 stocks. These 2 are having even more high probability to get success. These 15 minutes supply zones. This is a LTF, ITF and ITF EMA confluence. ITF zone with daily EMA confluence. ITF zone means ITF supply zone. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence support stocks. That is 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. This is the first filter. Next 15 minutes supply zone with daily supply zone, 75 minutes supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. We got 3 stocks. LTF, ITF, HTF. 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. And daily trend is down in all the 3. Let's check out of 3 any daily supply zone with daily EMA confluence. Daily supply zone with daily EMA confluence. We got 1 stock, but it is an indices. Okay. So this is about a bearish trade setup for a daily income trade. Next, quickly hourly income trade. Now I am not adding any filters or maybe, okay, we'll check. Hourly income trade, entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, demand zone, bullish or bearish trade setup 5 minutes, bullish, zone achievement V was at, minimum order enhancer score 12, 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count 5 minutes, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. And we got several stocks. First 15 stocks in the list, bullish trade setup, hourly income trade. Scrolling the list down. So total 23 stocks are we got. Out of these 23, how many are having ITF confluence? Let's verify. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. Out of 23, we got 16 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list, Nifty 50 is also there. But demand zone is a normal demand zone. So total 16 stocks are there. But if this demand zone is part of any 15 minutes high liquidity zone, excellent. How do you know 15 minutes high liquidity zone or not? Look into Nifty supply demand zone chain. 15 minutes supply demand zone chain. If this 5 minutes demand zone is inside 15 minutes any high liquidity zone, you can give lot of importance. Because this will be a fine-tuned zone inside a high liquidity zone. That way you can treat. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So total 16 stocks we got. Okay, out of 16, let us check any 15 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence. The EMA Confluence, 15 minutes time frame, 15 minutes demand zone with daily EMA Confluence. No, we don't have any stocks. Okay, fine. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone Confluence. Already 5 minutes and 15 minutes set. Next 5 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone Confluence. 15 minutes with 75 minutes demand zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 2 stocks. LTF, ITF, HTF. That is 5 minutes, 15 minutes and 75. Let us, here 75 minutes trend is up. So let us check if 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. In the EMA Confluence at 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. No, we don't have any stocks, EMA Confluence. Okay, this is bullish trade setup, hourly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup. Bearish, I am selecting zone achievement VOZ, minimum order enhancer score 12. And in the peers count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got only 3 stocks. Bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Let us check if any of these supply zones are having ITF Confluence. That is 5 minutes supply zone with 15 minutes supply zone Confluence. 2 stocks are having. So these 5 minutes supply zones, these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. Let's check if any of the 15 minute supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. So none of them are having. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone Confluence. 5 minutes, 15 minutes and 75 minutes. First filter is enabled. Second filter 5 minutes with 75 minutes and 15 minutes with 75 minutes supply zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got only 1 stock. But HTF trend is sideways, so I am not verifying any EMA Confluence with 75 minutes time frame. So this supply zone. This is about bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. And final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in the list are indices. First 17 in the list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I'm scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there pause the video. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.